Okay, today we have Jon Larsen from VOLBEAT, the drummer, since the first album, since the debut album. Mr. Larsen, how are you and where are you right now?
Right now I'm in my little sanctuary, which is my room in the house where nobody bothers me.
Is it in the basement or something? It looks like...
No, it's okay. Not in the basement, actually. It's somewhere secret. I'm not going to say where.
All right. We're going to talk about the new record, of course, about the production, songwriting, about your influence on the record, about Metallica, about the opinion of the fans, and about whatever. Okay, 1 year ago, you were recording the songs, and now it's finally available. For the whole world, only a few days since studio album number 8 has been released, Servant of the Mind. How does that feel for you in these days?
It feels good. We've waited a long time for this album to be released, actually. It was kind of weird to record it like a year ago, actually, and then just had to wait for it. But, you know, there were talk about, that we were supposed to tour this year as well, which didn't happen either. So in the end, we were just sitting and waiting, and whoever decides it says, well, now it's time to release the album. We were like, well, great, here it is, release it. And we're all very excited about it. We're all very happy about it, of course, and it seems like so far that people are really liking it. So can't complain.
Yeah, that's what I heard also. How much do you miss going on tour, playing live in front of a big audience, big festivals?
Well, we had a small US run a couple of months ago where we did like 12 shows in 3 weeks or something like that. And it was just great to be back out playing, actually, even though in these strange times. But just the fact that we could go out and play some shows was just amazing. But in all honesty, we're kind of like going, okay, can we go on tour now? We have to go on tour now. It's time. We miss being out, playing.
Of course, next tour will be in the States, right?
Yeah, it's a co-headline tour with Ghost and Twin Temple as the opening band.
Nice. Okay. Would you say the new record is an approach to get back to the roots of VOLBEAT, because a lot of fans seem to see it a little bit like that?
Yeah, well, I guess it was just, in a way, the way the songs came out. It wasn't really something that was planned as such, but once we started working on songs and Michael started bringing in riffs and ideas and songs in general, it was like, well, this is kind of like a little bit like the past, actually. So I think that this album is actually it's kind of sums up where we came from and where we are actually today, because it still has I think the melodies and the hook lines from the previous 2, maybe 3 albums, but it's also a bit more riff based. Definitely some of the songs this time than it was on some of the previous albums. So it's kind of like a greatest hits of VOLBEAT, only with new songs.
It's a good mix, yeah. A lot of fans from the early VOLBEAT days seem to be very happy with the new record. Everything I read is like, less mainstream, more metal, harder guitars and stuff like that. And but I also heard that it could have something to do with the recording situation this time. What can you tell us about it? I don't know if it's true. Maybe you would say it's not true.
I wouldn't say it's 100% true, but there is slight truth to it, because on the previous albums, ever since Rob joined the band, Rob has always been a pretty big part of the recording sessions. But as we all know, this time he wasn't there because he was back home in the US and there was no way that he could make it to Europe. And so it was kind of like a little more recorded like we used to back in the days, where it was basically just Michael and I doing all the basic tracks, and then Casper would come in and he would do his bass on top of that, and Michael would add a lot of the extra guitars. And when we had stuff ready, we would send it to Rob so he could add whatever he wanted to add, solos and harmonies and all that stuff. But it was, in the beginning, it was a bit weird that he wasn't there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, but you know, after a couple of days, it was like, well, he's not there, so let's just do what we do, you know. So it was a little bit like going back to maybe recording the first two albums.
Okay, and did you ever put him on a webcam while working on the songs or anything like that? Not really.
Not really, because we work during the day and he likes to work at night.
Sure, of course.
So when we were working, he was probably asleep or drinking coffee or whatever he was doing, you know.
Okay.
So
okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, let's talk about you a little bit more. You played on every VOLBEAT record since the debut from 2005. But what has changed for you personally since the early days? I mean, I guess you don't have to change your drum heads with your own hands anymore, because yeah, VOLBEAT became bigger and bigger. Maybe you can tell us something about that.
It's actually a bit hard to talk about that, because I see it from the inside. And for me, it's always, you know, we didn't come from like nowhere and all of a sudden we're big. You know, it took us a lot of years, you know, a lot of hard work to reach the level where we are at now. But, you know, I think it was a healthy way that we did it, because we couldn't really rely on radio or definitely no TV and stuff like that. So it was just like, okay, what can we do? Well, we can tour. And that's what we did, you know, put all the gear in the back of a van and just went wherever we could go. You know, we played everywhere sometimes in front of 10 people, sometimes in front of 500 people. It didn't really matter. But we could see, because we kept coming back to the same cities over and over, that more people would start to turn up, you know. And we just soldiered on. But like you said, yeah, things have changed because I don't change my drum head anymore.
Yeah.
I have somebody to do that for me, and I'm not even allowed up there while the crew are working. They won't let us be up there.
Seriously? All right.
Yeah, because we're basically just getting in their way, you know, asking all stupid kind of questions. So they prefer that we are not around at all.
All right. What can you tell us about the songwriting? I mean, of course, Michael Poulsen writes the biggest parts of the songs, but I read somewhere that you and Michael are both equally responsible for the finishing touch, if I could call it like that. I would just like to know more about the process of putting together the songs when you and Michael come together. Yeah, you know what I want to say.
Yeah. But the difference this time was actually that he got so inspired from whatever that inspires him. So this time he would more or less bring in complete songs. Actually, of course, you know, me and Casper, both of us would add our comments to it and come up with suggestions. Oh, maybe do like this instead of that. And sometimes he would say, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. And sometimes you say, no, fuck you, it's perfect as it is.
That's what I wanted to know. Yeah. How hard is it to change his mind then? If you or Casper say, hey, I would maybe do it more like that.
No, it's not that it's hard, you know, because sometimes, like I said, you know, one of us may say, hey, why don't you switch this part with this part instead? And then we will try it. And sometimes he would say, yeah, you know, that works actually better. Or no, I think it's fine as it is. And sometimes he would take the song home and maybe do a little bit of work. And again, sometimes he said, yeah, you were right. Or sometimes he would say, no, it wasn't working, you know. Okay. So it's more like that we give some inputs to him. And yeah, again, as I said, you know, sometimes he will say, okay, that's a good idea. Or sometimes he will say, no, that's a bad idea.
All right. What can you tell us about the time in the studio? I guess you must have worked really fast and efficient, because I read that you had some time still left after you recorded all of the songs.
Yeah, I mean, we had booked, I think, was it 4 weeks in total or 5 weeks in total in the studio? But after I think it was after 2.5 weeks, we were actually done. Wow. And even we sat down and said, okay, are we done? And Jacob, our producer, said, yeah, I think you're pretty much done. We've done everything, you know, drums, bass, guitars, vocals, it's pretty much done. So that's when we said, okay, you know, we still got 2 weeks left. Maybe we should do something in those 2 weeks. And that's when we talked about maybe doing some cover songs because, you know how it is today, you know, when people want to buy either a CD or vinyl or any physical product, you know, they want more, you know, like outtakes, demos, cover songs, and we have never really been that type of band who would record, let's say, 20 songs and pick out 12 or 13. If we have 13 songs, then we have 13 songs, and that's it. So we said, okay, you know, maybe we should see if we could come up with some sort of bonus material, which would be cover songs. And that's when we started looking into the Cramps and the Wolf Brigade and yeah, even the Metallica song.
Yeah, that's one thing I would like to know more about, because yeah, I thought it fits just perfectly. Don't Tread on Me. But was it your decision to pick the song from the Black Album, or how did it all happen? I mean, did the management of Metallica call you and say, "Hey, would you like to make a cover song?"
Yeah, the management, which is also our management, reached out to us and said, you know, Metallica is doing this blacklist thing where they want, you know, a lot of bands to do a cover version of either of the songs of the Black Album, and would we be interested in doing it? And we were not really that keen on it. First of all, because, you know, to do a Metallica song is not easy. And to do a song from the Black Album is even more difficult, because everybody knows the Black Album. Everybody has the Black Album. True. Everybody has an opinion about the Black Album. So we were like, well, we don't really know if we want to do it. And our next reaction was actually, well, if we are going to do it, we will not touch any of the big songs of the album, like Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Nothing Else Matters, and stuff like that. And they said, no. So they gave us Don't Tread on Me. And I think there was one more song that they said, well, these are the two songs that we were thinking about. And so Casper and I actually went home for the weekend, and Michael stayed behind. And he said, I'm going to see if I can come up with something that would make sense for us to do it. And if I can, let's try it. And if I can't, we'll just gonna say thank you, but no thanks. So when we met up the following Monday, he said, I think I got something. So we would, during the morning, he would play whatever he had in mind, and then we would try and rehearse it, and then we would record it actually bit by bit to see what it sounded like. And at the end, when we were done with the song, you know, Jacob did a very fast rough mix of it, and we sent it to Q Prime, and they was like way up in the air and thought, oh, this is so great. This is really an amazing track. So it's like, yeah, okay, well, I guess we are on the blacklist then.
Nice. Okay. Thanks for sharing that story. Next year, you will hopefully play in Germany again at Rock am Ring 2022. The last time I saw you there, I think it was 2016. Oh, damn, it's been a long time. Do you have any good memories when you think back at all the times you played at Rock am Ring, or yeah, bigger German festivals? Or
yeah, I think it was the second time when we did the Rock am Ring. We were not playing on the main stage. We were playing on the second stage. And
2016, I think you were.
No, that was the main stage. But this I think was in 2010. Actually, that's the one I remember the best, because I think we played, and then Slayer played, and then Motorhead was finishing that night, and that was really. A great memory also, because I think at the same time we were playing on the main stage, on the second stage, I think it was Muse or some really, really big act was playing on the main stage at the same time. So we were like, oh shit, nobody's going to come down and see us. You know, they'll all be up in front of the main stage. But you
were wrong. Yeah.
We were definitely wrong. I've never seen so many people on the second stage, and that was so mind blowing. So I definitely remember that. I think the one in 16, was it raining pretty hard that day?
Yeah, the weather was pretty shitty. 2016.
It was pretty. Yeah, I seem to recall it was pretty shitty. And again, I was looking out the window on the bus and going, "Oh man, nobody's going to show up for this. I don't want to stand out in the rain." And there were a lot of people, you know. So that's
it was a nice show.
Yeah, it was. As I recall, it was.
Okay, and did you say hello to Lemmy Kilmister or anything? Did you meet some of your idols? I mean, it happens when you're on tour, right?
Yeah, we toured with Motorhead and Megadeth some years ago. I saw Lemmy, but I never said anything to him, because first of all, I don't think he was that well at that point. Actually, he was starting to look a little bit frail, and we didn't really see that much of him. And on the other hand, I was also like, well, what am I going to say to the guy that he hasn't heard like a million times before? And if he's not going to say anything, I'm not going to say anything. I think I passed him a couple of times, just said hello and walked by. But we hung out with Mickey a bit because he's Swedish and we're Danish. So he had a great joy of that. And Phil, of course, because Phil and Rob know each other. So we would hang out with those guys a bit, you know, and nice. They tried to pull a prank on us, which backfired completely, but.
Oh, you have to share it. No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we were sitting on our bus one night, and those were the days where the crew and the band was traveling together, all together in one big bus. And in our back lounge, we had all our stage clothes hanging up. And trust me, that it's not a nice smell, but we had to dry it somewhere. Yeah. So during that night, all of a sudden the door bursts open, and in walks Phil and Mickey. And they were just like, oh, yeah, we just want to see what your bus looks like. And, you know, Mickey sat down and talked for a little bit. And then Phil said, can I use your toilet? And we were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So he did. And then they were like, all right, see you tomorrow. And then they walked off. And we were like, okay, that was a little bit weird, but kind of nice. And then I guess we all at some point looked out the window and we could see Mickey and Phil on their bus looking out their window, kind of giggling. And we were like, what are they laughing about?
Oh, shit.
We didn't get it. So nothing happened. And then the next day, I think we ran into Mickey and he said, well, didn't you notice something strange on your bus last night? And we were like, no, what do you mean? Well, we let off the stink bomb in your toilet.
Oh.
I was like, yeah, big deal. Our stage clothes is hanging in the back. There's no difference in that, trust me. So he was like, oh, God damn it. But that was a good one. That's typical Motorhead to do that.
Okay, yeah, those are the only two guys from Motorhead I ever met. It's funny, Phil Campbell and Mickey D interviewed them both. Really nice guys. Okay, every Christmas we celebrate the Meilensteine Marathon here at Regenbogen 2, and we play like over 80 records in 3 days, everything. I mean, Hendrix, Stones, Beatles, Queen, Metallica, Foreigner, Steppenwolf, whatever comes to your mind. A lot of good stuff. Maybe you could name like 3 classic albums which are real bangers for you, or where you say, yo, I still own them, I got them at home on vinyl and they are holy to me, or whatever. It doesn't have to be classic rock, of course. It could also be just metal stuff.
Oh man,
I know it's hard to pick a top 3 for a guy like you. I know.
Yeah, that's almost impossible, actually. Oh man, on top of my head right now, my only album to take with me on a desert island, let me put it that way, that would be Kings of the Wild Frontier with Adam and the Ants. Absolutely that one. What else? Probably, maybe Under Jolly Roger by Running Wild.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because that's the one that got me into Running Wild for sure. Actually, that was Under Jolly Roger, so that has a special place too. And maybe, I don't know, It's Alive by the Ramones. I think, yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I know you had to do that a lot, but it's my first interview with you. So could you also name us maybe 3 idols and why you adore them in a few short sentences? Because I think our time is running out. Yeah.
Right. Again, that's so bloody difficult to pick because there are so many. But right on the top of my head, definitely both. I'll put them under one. It's actually both Ringo Starr and Charlie Watts. Those were the 2 guys that got me into playing music, actually wanted to play drums. But yeah, that was Ringo and Charlie. I heard them and I saw them on TV and I was like, wow. So definitely those 2 guys. What else? The late Eric Carr from Kiss, huge influence. Eric was such a monster behind the kid, and I was lucky enough to meet him many, many years ago. And all the stories about him are true. He truly was a nice guy, humble, nice guy, really was. So him and I don't know, Nico McBrain, perhaps. Yeah, Nico. Why not? He's a madman.
Right. Yeah, that's enough. Those are 4 already.
Yeah,
okay.
but like I said, I put Ringo and Charlie as one person, so
yeah.
I cheated a little bit.
Okay, I'm already through with my questions, but if there's anything where you say, hey, we forgot to talk about that, yeah, it would be nice if you would remind me.
No, I don't think not. Can't really think of anything at the moment, so I don't think so.
Okay.
So
I think the fans are really happy with the new record, Servant of the Mind. It's an interesting album title, but I guess I have to ask Michael Poulsen for the deeper meaning. Yeah, and okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Larsen, and have a nice Christmas time, and see you next year, hopefully in Germany.
Hopefully, see you next year.
Hopefully, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Fucking coronavirus, is finally defeated. All right.
Hope so.
Thank you for your time, and have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.